Alan, thank you. It was a tight race between the large group of Republicans fighting to win the nomination for Oklahoma's 2nd Congressional District. 14 Republicans went head-to-head in last night's primary, and it came down to the top 2 candidates, Avery Fricks and Josh Brecheen. They will now head to the runoff in August. Brecheen is a 4th-generation rancher from Cole County who served 1 term in the Oklahoma State Senate. He's now joining us live via Zoom. And Josh Brecheen, we appreciate you being here with us this morning.
Tess, thank you so much.
So it was a crowded group for this race, a big race. What would you say set you apart from all of those other candidates?
I think people heard the message. I was mentored by Tom Coburn 15 to 20 years ago. I spent 6 years on his staff, and our message is different. It's about the next generation on an election. It's about securing liberty from where a nation finds itself $30 trillion in debt, with Medicare insolvent in 4 years, Social Security insolvent in 11 years, and the U.S. Treasury report coming out 2 to 3 weeks ago, highlighting that if we were to look at the total unfunded liabilities of this nation right now, it's north of $120 trillion. And Tess, they put it this way: it's not just all the assets, it's down to even the furniture. 80% of all assets in America to pay off our unfunded liabilities. This inflation that every family's feeling this year is a result of runaway federal spending. We are teetering on both moral and fiscal bankruptcy, and it's time to send serious-minded people who go to Washington, D.C., not to play the game, but to secure liberty for this nation.
Well, and we're definitely all feeling the effects of the pandemic and now inflation. It's tough on everyone, as you mentioned. So talk about how you would address that if you were to win.
You've got to shut off the spending valve. We've got to send people to Washington, D.C. who are not just going to give lip service to waste, fraud, and abuse, that are really serious-minded about going up there and looking at every area of government. My goal would be to sit on the Oversight Committee and to put agencies under subpoena power. And as the mentorship of Tom Coburn taught me, if people are serious about looking for waste, fraud, and abuse, there's plenty of it in the federal government.
Well, your campaign, you mentioned it a little bit, emphasized protecting Medicare, Social Security, limited government, and ending inflation. Talk a little bit more on some of those other issues and how you plan to address those.
Well, we've got to have people that aren't going to D.C. to play the game. We keep sending promise keepers are in short supply. And we keep sending power seekers to Washington, D.C., and they're so focused on the next election cycle, they're risk adverse to go and address the real issues facing our nation. Everybody has learned the game of bringing home free candy. And everyone who understands where we're at fiscally as a nation understands it's time to start buying vegetables, or we're not going to have a nation left.
Josh Brecheen, we appreciate your time with us this morning. Is there anything else that you'd like to let our viewers know about you and your campaign moving forward?
You bet. I want to thank Congressman Jim Bridenstine, who endorsed us, Trump's pick for NASA during the Trump administration. Carolyn Coburn, Tom Coburn's wife for 50 years. You can learn more about us for her endorsement. You can learn more about us at www.joshbrecheen.com, joshbrecheen.com. Thank you all.
Thank you, Josh.